And we are live with the second last guest, or at least it's a scheduled second last guest. We still might have a surprise guest at the end here, but for now, it's time to not maybe move away from the usual top players and maybe trying to speak with one of the more well known mappers in the scene. He has also been on the podcast before, but this is the first time he's on the Trackmania Live. Superal, how is life? How are you doing at the moment? And welcome to the Trackmania Live.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Hello, everyone. Things have been going great with the release of the new game and so on. We've been busy trying out the new editor and so on. So things have been great, actually.
Hmm. Yeah, I mentioned that you are one of the well-known mappers, so that is going to be my main questions about this because I guess
Mhm.
you are one of the better people to actually explain it. Can you tell people how do you actually find the mapping tools in this new game? How do you like it compared to the Trackmania 2 Stadium that maybe most people are familiar with?
Well, we have basically most of the main tools we had in Trackmania 2 Stadium, which is the normal block placing um, way of mapping. Then you have block mixing and you have ghost blocks. And what I find really interesting is that they added this ability to go off the grid, which allows you to rotate every block in every direction possible. And according to me, that allows for so many possibilities that that will make mapping really interesting in this game, even more interesting than it was in TM2. Overall, I think it's a great addition, and nothing interesting was taken away from the previous editor. So I think it's really good right now. We can do so many things.
Yeah, just saw some people, I believe it was on Twitter after 2 days, maybe after the game was released, saying that maybe the new mapping editor was confusing. Are they maybe
Mm.
mistaken? If let's say if you spend a lot of time in Trackmania 2 Stadium, would you easily adapt to this new map editor?
I think so. Yeah, if you've already built in Trackmania 2 Stadium, it should be the transition should be pretty easy. Actually, I think it's even harder in Trackmania 2 Stadium because you had to go into the options to enable block mixing and air mapping and so on, which I found really confusing actually back then. But now it's basically just pressing F2 or F3 a couple more times. That should make things easier. I think for new mappers, however, the editor can get a bit confusing because it has a lot of features compared to back in Trackmania and Nations Forever, for instance. So that can be confusing, but it's also the role of veteran mappers like me and others to guide the new mappers and teach them how to use the editor,
Hmm. You mentioned that maybe the options for this new game is like limitless, but
basically.
what? Yeah, what would you say that? Do you still think this new game is gonna have some specific styles? Are we still gonna see tech? Are we still gonna see dirt? Or are the impact of Trackmania Grand League and other events more aimed towards like, okay, this new game is gonna be mixed mapping as well?
I think as much as the editor is trying to push this mixed style of mapping, which is a good thing in my opinion for the growth of the game, um, the community has in the past um, switched to specific genres of driving and environments and styles by itself. So I think the community by itself will still want to do the same. If people won't want to play tech only or dirt only, they'll still be able to do that. And the blocks actually, in my opinion, still allow you to drive these different styles and build in these different styles. So I think that's not going to be a problem. Tech players can still do tech. There is ALM Cup, which is starting soon. We have a couple of maps that came out already, and they look decent or good. Actually, let's say good. The game is a bit new, so the blocks are. It's normal for them to not be familiar to the blocks yet, but um, but it's looking good for the future of the game. Dirt as well. I think there's it's very different from TM2, but I think there's going to be many possibilities in the future. And we have some new styles actually. We have ice that came into the game, so I'm quite interested to see how that's going to develop in the future. And I think we're still going to have those mixed styles that is pushed forward by TMGL and so on. So that's going to be great for diversity, in my opinion.
And if you like a mapper yourself, what is the thing you find the most fun to actually play around with at the moment? Is it maybe the new block that you never tried out, like the ice? Is it to see how let's say, compare tech to the Trackmania 2 Stadium, what is the thing that you find the most fun personally?
Well, weirdly enough, it isn't the driving blocks in themselves, but it's the ability to place terrain a bit everywhere. So I've been a bit experimenting a bit with the editor, and the first thing I did was to build a map with a lot of cherry blossom trees and so on. And with time, I built. I'm gonna release a map soon that's basically a road that's hidden in the mountains, and you go into caves and so on. So the terrain is very mountainous, and been playing with that a lot, and it looks very good in my opinion. So I've been more doing more of topographic game right now than driving, but um, yeah, that's very fun. And the blocks themselves, the new blocks for driving, are interesting. I think we're lacking some diversity right now, but I think Nedio is planning on adding new blocks in future updates. So I think that's gonna be that's that's a bit of an issue right now, but it's gonna get better with time.
Hmm. It's something that is one of the main stories for this new game is that it's subscription made, so there's going to be regular updates. From a mapping point of view, is there any blocks that you feel like they should maybe focus on adding first, and if so, what blocks?
Hmm. Um, I think I think scenery is a bit lacking. You have those terraforming blocks, but that's basically it. You have trees, which make your game lag quite a bit actually. So you want to cut down on using trees, which is a bit um, counterintuitive because that's basically the only scenery thing you have in the game. You also have those black towers and pillars and so on, but they don't look well. They're good for a specific industrial type of concept, but they're not that great for general mapping. Um, so yeah, scenery would be great, and just different types of blocks, different uphills for dirt, for instance, or even tech, the normal roads. That's gonna be nice to add.
Hmm.
But right now, I think you can still do a good job mapping with all the blocks that are in the editor. So I'm not too worried about mapping right now.
Do you think that maybe this game can actually award you as a mapper yourself instead of just being, maybe I got my name on a server once it was played, and I see Peak or Planet, no, Pittsburgh Knights is actually going to
Yeah.
award some with some prizes. I tried to do it once I hosted my last event with man versus man. Do you think that there will be a trend in this new game that maybe finally the mappers are going to be awarded, or do you still think that maybe the big competitions are like saying that it's somewhat expected that you build that you don't get the recognition for actually the hours you put into building maps?
Yeah. So just as a not disclaimer, but to preface it, I've been spending probably more than 3,000 or 4,000 hours in the editor over 12 years because I've been playing since 2008, and that's been my main activity on Trackmania. So it's it's true that having all those hours not be awarded by some kind of recognition. I mean, recognition is fine. We get recognitions, but some kind of payment or whatever
Yeah.
for the work we're putting out. That's a bit unfortunate. And it's great that I see orgs which are putting forward some prize money for the mappers because they're a key part of organizing competitions. You cannot have a competition without having maps. So I think yeah, it's been due for a long time, really, and I'm really happy to see orgs do that. In the future, I cannot say whether they will continue to award mappers with money or yeah, money basically. That would be great. Um, I cannot say really. It's gonna be up to them. I'm gonna be pretty disappointed if they don't keep going in that direction. But that's basically what it, you have this new esport that's gonna develop. Trackmania is a new esport that's gonna develop with the new game. We see it's going in the right direction, in my opinion, despite all the problems we've had. But you're awarding video makers for the for the videos they make. You're awarding skinners for the skin they create. So why not award the mappers as well?
Hmm. And something that I think is once you see how big impact the Trackmania grounding has on the change of style, basically once it was announced, the top players
Mm.
are like, okay, I'm jumping that. I saw you posting that you will not map for Trackmania grounding anymore because of your experience with it. Do you think it's maybe the responsibility of the main event like Trackmania Grand League to maybe say that we actually appreciate mappers, we actually want to award them, and then other smaller tournaments are like, yeah, okay, maybe that is a good idea, and the responsibility is actually on the game developers themselves, so who is behind the Trackmania Grand League.
Sure, I definitely agree. I think they should lead by example, basically. If they want the community to be kind with their mappers, award them for their work, and basically create a better track building environment for the game, they need to lead by example and treat their mappers as well as they can, which is not the case in my opinion right now, based on the experiences I've had with people handling the mapping side of the TMGL right now, which is also why I've had other people. I don't know if I can mention them, but oh, we lost Eirik. Ah,
Yes,
he's gonna come back. There you
let's
go.
continue. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's continue.
welcome back. Welcome to the podcast, Eric.
Thank
No.
you, thank you.
um, so yeah, we I don't know if I can mention their names, but some other mappers have told me, "Oh, I'm not gonna build for TMGL because they're basically treating you like shit. So let's like be careful." And I was like, "Yeah, but I really wanted to succeed, you know. So I'm gonna keep working." But things haven't evolved in the right direction, in my opinion. So that's why I said on Twitter that it would be not mapping for TMGL in the future anymore.
Hmm,
Um, sure, if they do change their ways and they prove that they actually want to help the mapping side of the community develop, then I might say yes if they ask me, and if they don't, then so be it. I left by myself, you know. So I don't have the right to just say, oh, basically, hey, well, I'm
yeah.
back, you know. But yeah, that's a decision I took. Hopefully, they will start steering in the right direction in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest competition, at least once it's. I mean, Serrator is going to build for its own competitions, but
Mhm.
Trackmania Grand League is like somewhat of a community event. You have the best players, you have community watching, you have community casting the events. If you want the best maps, you should allow the best mappers to actually build for it, and then I think you should treat them with respect. And I don't know the personal stories from either one
Right.
of you, but the outside look is like once players or mappers actually go to the step and saying, "I'm not going to build for it," that is a big step, and that is something they should fix. Because let's say if that is a continued trend, then we're gonna end up with maps from Softy B and then Hillis himself, and I don't think the community wants that. I don't think the players want that. I don't think the game wants that.
Yeah, right. I think so too. But well, to be fair, Hillis has been pushing forward this I wouldn't say narrative, but this idea that the community is the basis of Trackmania, and I think he's actually been doing a great job putting that forward in the new game. But and I don't have any issue with Hillis personally because we don't communicate with him as mappers for the TMGL. It's basically the steps in between that lack some serious and some respect, in my opinion. So that was the main issue I've had with TMGL. But I think the main idea behind the TMGL and what Hillis has in mind is actually decent. And I think he can, if he can steer the boat in the right direction again, things are gonna go well for the TMGL.
Mm,
And if it's not me or the current great mappers like Wouter or Kesla, for instance, which have previously built for the TMGL, it's gonna be new mappers that are gonna start building great maps.
mm.
So it's fine.
Last topic from me is that I don't remember exactly the date, but it was somewhat announced before the new game was out, or before the new game was scheduled to be out. So it was pretty early this year that HuntMania has been reformed. The organization me and Johnny started.
Right.
But can you tell us? I have not seen any information from since that sort of trailer. Can you give people an inside view about what are you planning to do? Is it life in it? Are you still maybe looking for people to help you bring life into that org, or
Well, basically, HuntMania, for those who don't know, is is an organization organizing cups. They've been organizing things in the past. As you said, created it with Johnny, and the team kind of changed over the years. Um, and before the game was announced, we were planning on working on a couple of cups like PEC or Four Styles. And then the game was announced, so we thought, oh, maybe we should wait for the new games and organize the competitions on that new game. So we waited, and when the new game came out, we thought, oh, maybe we need plugins actually to run those competitions. But the issue is that plugins haven't quite been developed yet. I think, on the different servers and so on. So it's taken quite some time. I don't actually organize the competitions myself. I'm more on the social media part of the organization, but I know what's going on. So yeah, people have been busy trying to set up new competitions. They're hopefully gonna come soon for you guys, but we'll see. It's gonna depend on whether we can technically put them into place soon.
Hmm. Thank you for stepping up and explaining to people the
Thank
mapping
you.
scene and what the mapping side of it is. And good luck with. I mean, we need to see the best mappers in the biggest event. So hopefully, good luck with the relationship with Trackmania Grand League. Good
Thank
luck
you.
with the HuntMania, and good luck with everything, man. And I appreciate you taking the
Well,
time.
thanks for inviting me, and see you next time, hopefully.
See you soon, man.
Bye.
That's it. Now only one guest remains, or maybe two, but the next show one that is scheduled is Coco. A little break now, then Coco is back.